Welcome to the deep dive. Let's talk about something that's probably on a lot of people's minds right now, especially with, all the changes with AI, the economy. How you actually feel about money. It can be a real roller coaster sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. A definite roller coaster. And those feelings, the worry, the stress, maybe sometimes a bit of hope mixed in, they aren't just noise. They're actually really valuable signals.
Signals. And this is where I think it gets really fascinating. What if those feelings, those money worries, weren't actually the problem? What if they were more like a compass? Something you could learn to read, maybe even adjust to find your way to feeling more, confident, at ease.
That's exactly it. And there's a tool that helps with precisely that. It's called the emotional scale for alignment. Think of it as a practical guide to understanding why you feel the way you do about money and how to gently shift it.
Okay, the emotional scale for alignment. Sounds intriguing. So what's the basic idea? How does this scale actually help us understand what's going on inside when we think about finances?
Well, the core concept is pretty straightforward, actually. It views your emotions, all of them not as good or bad, but simply as feedback, like little messengers telling you about your internal state, especially in relation to something significant, like money.
So they're just indicators.
Exactly. The scale helps show why you might feel stuck in worry or stressed out, or maybe even why you sometimes feel totally unstoppable. It reveals the underlying emotional current.
Okay, so our feelings are speaking a kind of language. But how do we translate that? How do we use the scale to actually, feel a bit better when things feel tight financially?
Right. Well, the real magic, if you like, of the scale is how it helps you guide yourself toward what we call alignment.
Alignment, meaning?
Meaning a state of sort of inner harmony where your thoughts and feelings are more congruent. And from that place, you tend to make better, clearer decisions, especially around money. The scale shows this natural progression of emotions. You can see where you are.
Pinpoint it.
Yes. Pinpoint it. And then see what the very next emotional step might feel like. Just a small step that feels, achievable. It acknowledges that emotions have a kind of logic, a flow, and you can learn to navigate it consciously.
Could you maybe walk us through an example? Like, how does that step-by-step movement actually work in practice?
Sure. Let's take someone, maybe someone whose job just got automated by AI, a common worry these days. Initially, they might be way down the scale, feeling afraid, desperate, depressed.
Yeah, I can imagine. Thoughts like, it's over, how will I cope?
Exactly. I've lost my job, I'm ruined, that kind of thing. Now, according to the scale, a very natural next energetic step up might actually be towards angry, resentful, reactive.
Angry, that sounds like a step up.
Energetically, yes.
Yeah.
Think about it. Anger, maybe thoughts like, this is so unfair, AI taking jobs. It's not pleasant, obviously, but it has more energy than that heavy, powerless feeling of depression. It's a move.
Okay, I see that. More active somehow.
Precisely. And the ultimate direction is, of course, towards the top end of the scale. Feelings like pure joy, radiant appreciation, where the thoughts might be more like, wow, life is full of possibilities. I feel so abundant.
So it's really about these small, believable shifts, not trying to jump from despair to joy overnight.
Absolutely critical. You nailed it. It's about finding stability at each point, allowing yourself to sort of settle into that slightly better feeling before reaching for the next one. That's what makes the improvement sustainable. Quick jumps often don't stick.
That really makes sense. Slow and steady. So are there different, zones or categories of emotions on this scale?
Yes, broadly speaking, we can group emotions into three main zones based on their, let's call it, energetic quality. There are expansive states, neutral passive states, and contractive states. This isn't about judging them, just describing how they feel.
Okay, expansive, neutral, contractive. Let's break those down. What are expansive states like?
These are your sort of high vibe feelings. Think enthusiasm, joy, confidence, passion, appreciation. They create a sense of openness, possibility, feeling connected. When you're in this zone, you often feel more resourceful, creative, even magnetic.
Right, that's the zone we generally aim for, I suppose. What about the neutral passive ones? They sound a bit flat.
Not necessarily flat, but definitely less intense. Think of them as mid-vibe. States like detachment, maybe even boredom sometimes, contentment, they're actually really important for grounding and recalibration.
Like a pause button.
Kind of, yeah. A place to rest, integrate experiences, catch your breath before moving again. They provide a necessary pause from really high or really low intensity feelings.
Got it. So they serve a purpose. And then the contractive states, I guess these are the tougher ones.
These are the low vibe emotions, generally speaking. They tend to make you feel small, closed off, limited, maybe overwhelmed. Think fear, anger, blame, guilt, despair. Challenges can feel huge when you're here.
Yeah, definitely feels like being stuck.
Exactly. But again, not bad emotions. They're powerful signals that you're craving a shift towards something that feels better, something more aligned.
This idea of categorizing by energy, not just good or bad, is really helpful. So understanding which zone you're in, that helps with money decisions.
Hugely. Because if you recognize, okay, I'm feeling really contracted right now, really fearful, you might pause before making a big financial move. Like panic selling stocks or taking on risky debt.
Right, versus making a decision when you feel more expansive and clear-headed.
Precisely. The outcomes are likely to be very different. You make choices from a place of possibility rather than scarcity.
That totally resonates. We've probably all made money moves out of stress that we later regretted. So how does someone actually use this scale day to day? Can you share a story, maybe?
Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about Sarah, obviously not her real name. Sarah went through exactly what we discussed earlier. Her job was eliminated due to AI automation, a huge shock.
Wow.
And it sent her on that emotional roller coaster, big time. Fear about paying bills, anger about the situation, frustration with job hunting, the works. She decided to try using an 18-state quick start version of the emotional scale to navigate it.
An 18-state version. Okay,
Yeah.
So where did she start?
Right at the bottom, number 18. Afraid, desperate, depressed. Her internal world was pretty bleak. Thoughts like, my job's gone because of a robot. I'm terrified. How will I survive financially? That feeling was just pure devastation, signaling this deep need for safety.
Understandable. A really tough place to be. What was her next step up from there?
From that deep low, she actually moved towards number 17. Angry, resentful, reactive.
Was that anger again?
Yep. Her thoughts shifted. It's just not right. AI taking over everything. Why me? And like we said, while anger isn't comfortable, it gave her a little jolt of energy, a step up from feeling completely powerless and passive.
Okay, so it sparked some kind of action, even if it's just internal. What came after anger?
Next up was number 16, blaming, critical, judgmental. This is where she started turning it outwards and inwards. I should learn new skills ages ago. And honestly, the way the company handled this was terrible.
So trying to make sense of it, assign responsibility?
Exactly. It's a mental engagement, even if it's critical. From there, she landed in number 15, frustrated, annoyed, irritated. This came out especially during the job search. Another rejection. I apply, and nothing. It's so annoying.
Yeah, that job hunt frustration is real.
Very real. But that frustration, that annoyance, it kept her trying. It was pushing her forward, even if uncomfortably. Next came number 14, disappointed, unhappy. A bit quieter than frustration, more like, I'm working so hard at this, sending out resumes, but I'm still unemployed. It just feels sad, reflecting on the gap between effort and results.
A more internal feeling of letdown.
Yes. Then she moved into number 13, doubtful, uncertain, hesitant. She started thinking about options, but with uncertainty. Should I take that online course? Is it worth the money? What if I still can't find work? I don't know what to do.
Starting to consider action, but feeling hesitant. Still better than just being unhappy, though.
Definitely more proactive, yes. Which led her to number 12, detached, bored, indifferent. This was a kind of pause. Thoughts like, you know what? Maybe money isn't everything. Maybe my job isn't my whole identity. I just need a break from stressing about this 24/7.
Ah, that neutral zone kicking in. A chance to reset.
Exactly. Creating space. And that space allowed for number 11, compassion, self-respecting. This was a big shift. Wait a minute. I deserve better than just scrambling. I have value. I can find something fulfilling and stable, something that feels right for me.
Finding that sense of self-worth again. That feels crucial.
Absolutely fundamental. And it paved the way for number 10, forgiving understanding. She started to release the bitterness. Okay, the layoff. It wasn't personal. It's just business, technology changing. Holding on to resentment isn't helping me.
Letting go of the baggage, that must have felt lighter.
Immensely lighter, which naturally led to number 9, adaptable, resilient, flexible. She started remembering past challenges she'd overcome. Hey, I've gone through tough stuff before. I can handle this too. If this path is blocked, I'll find another.
Tapping into her own inner strength.
Yes, and that opened her up to number 8, open-minded, encouraged. Suddenly, possibilities started appearing. Wow, look at all these free courses online. Maybe AI isn't just a threat. Maybe it's a tool I could use.
Seeing the other side of the coin, from threat to tool.
Exactly, a spark of hope, which grew into number 7. Hopeful, optimistic, grateful. Things weren't perfect, but the feeling shifted. Okay, I'm starting to feel steadier. I'm actually grateful for the skills I have, and I'm optimistic about learning more. Things are looking up.
Gratitude replacing some of that fear and frustration. Nice.
A real turning point. Then came number 6. Playful, curious, lighthearted. You started thinking, what if I just tried something completely new, something I've always been curious about? It actually sounds kind of fun.
Approaching change with curiosity instead of dread. That's powerful.
It really is. It lowers the stakes. That playfulness led to number 5. Positively anticipating, eager. She'd maybe enrolled in that course. I'm actually excited to start this. I can see how this could lead somewhere really interesting, real momentum building.
Feeling purpose-driven now.
Definitely. Which solidified into number 4, happy, confident knowing, just this underlying trust. I've got this. I trust myself to figure it out. I know I have what it takes to thrive, not just survive.
Deep self-belief setting in.
Yes, and that blossomed into number 3, enthusiastic, excited, thrilled, seeing potential everywhere. Wow, this is such an exciting time. A chance to totally reinvent myself. Look at all these possibilities.
You feel the energy shift just hearing it.
Right, and that peaks at number 2. Passionate, empowered, feeling truly unstoppable. I feel like I can handle anything now. Challenges are just fuel to build the career I really want, aligned with purpose.
Really owning her power.
And finally, reaching number 1. Pure joy, radiant appreciation. Just this deep sense of well-being, gratitude for the journey. Life is amazing. It's abundant. I'm so grateful for everything. And interestingly, the specific money worries just faded.
Yeah. What a transformation.
Yeah.
That's incredibly powerful to map out like that. So, reflecting on Sarah's journey, what were the big aha moments for her? The key things listeners could really grab onto?
Well, a few things really stood out. First, she noticed that pattern, that loop. Feeling depressed, then getting angry, but then feeling guilty or ashamed about being angry, which just pushed her right back down into depression.
Ah, the crazy 8 pattern you mentioned. Guilt about anger trapping her.
Exactly. She realized that guilt and shame weren't inherent reactions. They were often things we're taught, societal conditioning. Recognizing that helped her give herself permission to feel the anger without the added layer of guilt, which allowed her to move through it instead of getting stuck.
That's huge, breaking that self-defeating cycle. What else?
Another big one came around number 10, forgiving understanding. She saw how much she'd been held back by old beliefs, old cultural programming, she called it, about what success should look like, the right way to have a career, feeling guilty if she wasn't constantly striving in a certain way.
Letting go of those external pressures and expectations.
Yes, consciously deciding to stop letting those run the show. Super liberating. She also looked back and realized that times when she'd acted out of sheer desperation or anger, well, the results weren't great. Things didn't pan out well.
Right. Actions taken from those lower vibe states.
Exactly. She saw that waiting until she felt a bit more aligned, even just a bit more hopeful or curious, led to much more effective, resourceful actions and better outcomes. Timing, based on emotional state, really mattered.
So the feeling behind the action is key.
Absolutely. And maybe the most profound thing for her, and I think for anyone listening who feels stressed about money, was learning to be okay with wherever she was on the scale. Just accepting it.
Not fighting the feeling?
Right, because when people told her, just be positive, while she was feeling awful, it actually made her feel worse, like she was failing at feeling better too. Understanding the scale validated her feelings. It showed her, okay, I'm here, and that's a valid step on the journey. That self-acceptance was massive.
And you said that helped her feel more compassionate towards others too.
It did. As she stopped judging her own feelings, she naturally stopped judging others so harshly. Moving from that critical state, level 16, to understanding, level 10, wasn't just about forgiving the company, it was also about having more empathy generally.
It sounds like this whole process really deepened her self-awareness and resilience beyond just the money aspect.
Totally. It's a holistic shift. So for you listening, how can you start using this? It's actually quite practical.
Okay, let's hear the steps. How can someone start calibrating their own money emotions?
Okay, step 1, pause and name the emotion. Simple, but powerful. Just take a breath, check in. How are you actually feeling about money right now? Use the scale, maybe the quick start version. Find the word that fits best.
Just identify it. No judgment.
No judgment. Step 2, briefly acknowledge the cause. Ask yourself, okay, what triggered this feeling? Maybe it was a bill, a news headline, a conversation. Just note it briefly. Don't get lost analyzing it for hours.
Brief acknowledgement. Got it.
Step 3, accept where you are. This is crucial. Repeat it if you need to. It's okay to feel this way. Feeling fear or frustration doesn't mean you're broken. It's human. I am where I am, and that's okay.
Radical acceptance of the present feeling.
Exactly. Step 4, Take small steps toward relief. Don't try to leap from fear to joy. Just aim for the next slightly better feeling on the scale. What's one thought that feels a tiny bit better, a little bit lighter, and actually believable right now? Maybe moving from desperate to just worried or uncertain. Think, I don't have to fix everything this second. Can I just find a little relief?
Small, believable steps, gentle shifts.
Gentle is the key word. And step 5, celebrate and flow. Any movement up the scale, no matter how tiny, is a win. Acknowledge it. Hey, I shifted from feeling angry to just frustrated. That feels a little lighter. Yes. Let the emotions move. Don't try to hold on to one state too tightly.
Celebrate the small wins. Acknowledge the flow.
Yes. And underpinning all this is a really simple truth. Everything, we want more money, a better job, whatever we want it because we think it will make us feel better.
Right. It always comes back to the feeling.
Always. So this emotional scale is like a shortcut. It helps you work directly with the feelings, which is ultimately what you're after anyway. And you don't need to overthink it or analyze your entire childhood.
That sounds much more direct.
It is. And the amazing thing is, once you get the hang of this emotional calibration, it's a skill for life, like learning to tune an instrument. You learn to bring yourself back into harmony again and again. It doesn't matter if you start at the very bottom of the scale today. Every single step up feels lighter, more expansive.
So the key message here is, wherever you find yourself on that emotional scale right now when you think about money, it's okay. It truly is. Those emotions, they're your compass. They're guiding you towards feeling more confident, more free, more you.
Absolutely.
And to help you with this, we've got some great free resources. There's an interactive quick start emotional scale and a guide detailing this emotional calibration process. You can use them daily just to check in. We really encourage you, find out where you are right now, see what your personalized next step could be.
Remember, you're definitely not alone in navigating these feelings. We're all figuring this out.
We are. We're here cheering you on. Let's learn to work with our emotions, calibrate them, and honestly enjoy the ride a whole lot more.
So maybe just consider this as we wrap up. If you really understood that your feelings about money are workable, adjustable, what's one tiny intentional step you could take on your own emotional scale today? What shift, however small, might start to reshape not just how you feel about your finances, but your overall sense of well-being? Just something to think about.